Hello, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. First and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much for getting me to 10K subscribers. I was thinking about my journey on this channel when I hit that number, I think somewhere on Thursday or Friday, and my guides reminded me that it's actually been 10 months since I posted my first video here. So 10 months in to get to 10K is really, really cool. So thank you so much for, again, for being here. Thank you to all of you for all the ways, for all of your support and all the ways that you've helped to sow into me and help to grow the channel. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for booking me for mentorship services, tarot astrology, etc. It feels really good to not only be walking in my purpose, but also to be able to give back and to transmute my pain and turn it into gold so that it lights the path for you guys also to tune into your own personal power. It makes everything I've been through worth it. So thank you. So tonight I have some downloads, and I'm probably going to pull some cards because there's a few different things coming through. I already have pulled some cards ahead of time. I wasn't going to keep them out. It was just kind of like I wanted to see 11:11 as I say that. I wanted a pre-reading of the energies. I always like to show you guys this so people know I'm not telling fibs. I don't know if you can see it. When it goes off, you're going to see 23:11. Yeah, 11:11. So, funnily enough, 23 is an Aquarian number either way. So 11 is an Aquarius number, and so is 23. So 11:11 is on the clock right now as we begin. So yeah, I did. I pulled some cards beforehand, and I have some downloads. I think I'm going to begin with the downloads. Okay, so I've been getting more so today than anything, and especially like since the sun moved into Libra. And we had, if you're in the northern hemisphere, autumn equinox, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, spring equinox, a couple of days ago. I've been feeling this very interesting energy, which, you know, anxiety and excitement can feel very similar. They are pretty much the same energy, just with a different expression. So on the one hand, I've been tuning into that anxiety, but I've been told by my guides that actually for many of us, what we should be experiencing and what we should be tuning into is the excitement that is forthcoming for many of us, for many of you. So every equinox, they try to reset the scales and try to pull beings into lower timelines and realities. And the message I was getting, I was taking a beautiful walk this evening, and all of a sudden I looked up at the sky, and seemingly out of nowhere, which is kind of the energy that I was channeling even before this occurred, but seemingly out of nowhere, I see this beautiful bright light in the sky that just looks like a bright light. It doesn't quite look like the moon, because what's happening is that the clouds were clearing away, and because there was so much spraying of the skies, the moon had this kind of like, it looked almost like, you know how if you were to look through like a piece of glass that has like Vaseline smeared on it, the moon had that kind of effect because of that. But she was still beautifully bright. She's in Aquarius astrologically right now, or in Capricorn astronomically. And it was like, I looked up just at the right time, and it was like she almost like revealed herself to me. And it was like I said, this energy of something coming out of nothing is definitely a theme that I was tuning into even before I had that experience this evening. So I say all of that because the whole point of the equinox energy is always to try and use the power of equilibrium to take us out of balance. So I often will say that the poison is also the cure, and the cure is the poison. That's why if we are to be wise, we are not to discount anything. Everything has value. Okay, so in other words, I say also that the attacks are activations. Everything has its light and dark expression. Energy is just energy. Even when it's expressed through certain beings, certain articles, there's always something to be learned or to be found. Nothing can be altogether dismissed or discounted. That is not divine wisdom. Okay, so what was coming through, the main message that was coming through earlier on for me today was that something beautiful is arising where you thought there was nothing. Something beautiful is arising where you thought there was nothing. Something is going to come, it's going to be unexpected, sudden, and it's just going to be there. And it's going to be there almost as if it always has been there. Okay, I was channeling different songs. There were so many songs coming through, and I might get into them a little later. But one song that, just entered into my reality as I was getting ready tonight was that song from the musical Sunset Boulevard, As If We Never Said Goodbye. And so I started watching some of the classic performances of it, and I'm a big fan of musicals. And I was very fortunate to see Sunset Boulevard here in the UK in the West End as a child, and it had such an impression on me. And I saw it with at the time it was Betty Buckley. She performed, and then there was this actor named John Barrowman, who I had like the biggest crush on. Anyway, I went back and I started watching recordings of them and Shirley Bassey, Elaine Page. I didn't watch any Glenn Close, but anyway, I started watching some of those performances and listening to the song, and I pulled up the lyrics, and this was the part that was really speaking to me about what this energy is that I'm picking up right now. So the bridge in the song goes, I don't want to be alone. That's all in the past. One second. This world's waited long enough. I've come home at last. And this time will be bigger and brighter than we knew it. So watch me fly. We all know I can do it. Could I stop my hand from shaking? Has there ever been a moment with so much to live for? Yeah, so that's the main part. Oh, the whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways. So much to say, not just today, but always. There's a very powerful energy of home that I kept on getting. And even as the sun moved into Libra on Saturday, I keep on being pulled into Cancerian energy. And as I explained very briefly, I think in the previous video, there are 4 cycles on the zodiac wheel in terms of new beginnings in the astrological year, or what we would call the beginning of a new quarter. So every new quarter on the zodiac wheel begins with cardinal energy. So it's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn energy. Every time the sun moves into those signs, it's a brand new quarter. So right now we are entering into the 3rd quarter of the year. The 1st quarter began with Aries energy, the 2nd quarter began with Cancer energy, and now the 3rd quarter begins with Libra energy. And what I'm noticing is that as we begin this 3rd quarter, there's a bit of a backtrack into the 2nd quarter energies also. And I don't fully get in its entirety why it's still unfurling to me, but there is this very real energy of coming home. And if you know anything about the Cancerian energy, the Cancer energy, its 4th house, it is to do with home. It is to do with ancestry. It's to do with motherhood. It's one of the signs of the Divine Mother. It's to do with this notion of home. So there's something here that I'm really picking up, that the reason that something beautiful is arising where you thought there was nothing is there has been a return home. And indeed, that's what the second quarter of the year has really been about. That Cancer, Leo, Virgo segment was all about coming home. So it's interesting that I keep on picking up these messages. I keep on hearing songs about another song that was really speaking to me was that Coldplay song. It's called A Message, I think it's called. And what was the lyric? It speaks about finding home in another person. That's really what it comes down to in that song. And there was another song where I was picking up that home energy again, and it was like my guides were really, pun intended, driving home this energy for me to grab a hold of tonight. So this is a reading for those of you who feel like you've come home, who feel like you have reached the Sun card in the tarot, which is the number 19, and now you have access to North Node living, who you feel like for the most part you have recovered the fragmented pieces of your soul that was scattered across timelines and incarnations due to the trauma cycles of the matrix, that this is a lifetime where you've actually accomplished that, the big part of that, and you actually for the first time feel like you've returned home to self. Okay, and the lyric was like, this time will be bigger and brighter than we knew it. It's deeper than just you. This is a group. This is speaking about a group that has found themselves back to, it's like found themselves back to the energy of the beginning. And I was picking up very heavy Lemurian energy also. It's almost like some of you have come back to, on an energetic and a frequency level, it's like you've come back where you left off before the craziness occurred on Earth that became the false matrix system that we all succumbed to. There's a group of beings who have returned home. I hope that makes sense. And if this is you, then you'll know it's you. And this is ultimately where we're all headed, but some of you are already there. And it's a beautiful thing because it means those of you who've already reached that place, you make it easier for those of us who are on our way, or those who are the next wave. You make it easier for the next wave, and the wave, every time it gets easier to get to this this destination, which again is a frequency. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing. But again, I was like explaining at the beginning how that equinox energy likes to play with the energies that are designed to bring us into equilibrium to do the opposite. Because again, like I said, the poison is the cure. So the way energy is used, it can be used to do what it's designed to do, but it can be used to have the completely opposite effect, if that makes sense. So the equinox is designed to bring in energies of equilibrium, but these nefarious beings like to use the equinox to bring energies of stability to what it is that they are desiring to do. And whatever it is they're desiring to do requires that it puts us in energies of imbalance, and that will pull us into lower timelines. But this time it's not successful. And as I was walking and I was looking at the moon, another message was coming through, and that is that for many of you, you've been since you have become conscious of this, you may have noticed that the equinoxes have really knocked you off kilter in the past. But every equinox, while you've been consciously aware, it's become better and better. And this time around, you may have felt nothing. And all that you're feeling right now is the remnants of the fear and the anxiety because of the past, because of the fear of it happening again, but also what you are tuning into is that energy of instability that is necessary for equilibrium to come, that ultimately is now designed for, as long as you're in divine alignment, to put you in perfect order and to therefore shift those who have been abusing this energy to create a false sense of stability. It's going to put them where they actually are, which is they're very unstable. Energetically speaking, they're very unstable. And that's about to come forth also. I hope that makes sense. And with the moon in Aquarius, it is calling that forth too. Aquarius deals with the pulling forward of truth, right? That's really what the authenticity of the New Age is about. It's about living authentically, is living in your truth. And you can't live in truth for as long as you're living in pockets of deception, but you can't break out of the deception if there's no revelation and exposure. So Aquarius does help with all of that. It has a lot of help from the other signs too, but the destination point of being able to live in your truth ultimately, it's expressed through Aquarius in like real time. Also through Sagittarius, but we're talking about Aquarius today, yeah? So what I was getting also is that there's something unexpected and sudden that's coming, and it's going to feel like it's just there, but it's going to feel very familiar, like almost like it's always been there, or almost like it should have always been there. I hope I'm making sense here, because like I said, there is this Lemurian energy of returning home to a place that your soul knows. Okay? Alrighty. So another way this was shown to me, it was really interesting, is that I have this beautiful plant, and this plant is slightly poisonous, right? And it's not poisonous to me, but it's like poisonous to, it's not a plant that you want to have around if you have pets, for example. And so you could almost say that this plant, in the fact that it's slightly poisonous, it is a bringer of death, right? And so there's something about the plant and death energies, and even Scorpio energies. And plants like that are really great for protecting. Some of them are really beautiful, but they're really great for protecting. Anytime you have a plant with any level of poison, you can use it on an energetic level for protection. Okay, and so I have this beautiful plant, and it's like slightly poisonous, so it has these kind of like, and like I said, it's not a deathly toxic plant. It's just poisonous to possibly little people and pets. But I was drawn to it because of its beauty, and I was drawn to it because of its darkness. It's very, its leaves are very, very dark, like almost purple, and they're just like ebony purple. They're just beautiful. And so I was very drawn to, and it's a part of a different species of plants, like the other, like there are different versions of it with different pigmented leaves, but this one was just, it had a presence, very scorpionic in the way that its energy was speaking to me, and I was very drawn to it. So, and then I started dreaming about it. I was like, I've got to have this plant. But anyway, I made a mistake with this beautiful plant, and I was burning a candle, and the candle was a little bit too close to one of the branches, and so it dried out the leaf, and I had to cut off the leaf. And this was like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was upset about it because it's just such a dramatic looking plant. And so I cut off the leaf, and it didn't make that much of a difference, but I still, I was lamenting the fact that I'd been a bad plant mama and I had to cut off the leaf now. But I learned my lesson. I moved the candle out of the way. Anyway, today, out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, and I tend to my plants, I talk to my plants, okay? I look at this plant, and literally the last time I looked at it, this wasn't here. I'm telling you, it was a whole new frond of growth. And I'm talking about like really tall, just out of nowhere. And the way I knew that I wasn't like losing it and it was brand new growth is because when these plants produce new leaves, in the beginning, the leaves do come out green. And then over time, that pigment, the dark purple pigment of the plant, becomes a part of the new growth. But out of nowhere, it was like it literally feels like it shot out overnight. And it wasn't like a shoot shooting out over. It's like a full grown, like, extension of the plant. And I'm just shook. I'm shocked. Okay, so it popped out seemingly out of nowhere, just brand new life. Okay, so the message I was getting from that is that when you've been planting, tending, and cultivating your energy for beauty, don't be surprised when you see nothing one day and the next everything falls together as if out of thin air. Okay, so some of you, like, it was like when I was speaking about the birthing process a few videos back, and I was making the analogy that 1 minute baby is in and next minute you're holding baby. This is the energy that, once again, some of you are in, but it's at a higher level. Meaning that something is about to shift magnanimously, like I was speaking about in that video. What has not been visible, but you've been feeling, is coming forth, but it's coming forth in such a way that it's going to feel like it's always been there. Because for many of you, it's a return of something that is very, very familiar to your soul. Okay? So you did this. You did this. You did this. You made yourself ready to receive this harvest. You made yourself ready to receive this harvest, which is why it's popping out like this, and it's coming in. I feel like it's coming in unexpectedly, it's coming in suddenly, and it's coming in like, it's just like this energy of something beautiful just sprouting, and I don't know, it's just going to be there. Okay? So you held on to your truth and where you were being guided, even when it didn't make sense. You held on to your truth and where you were being guided, even when it didn't make sense. And even when it didn't make sense because other beings were questioning your judgment, and to the point where you even started to question your own judgment, but you still held on to where you were being intuitively led. Okay, so you prepared the soil, right, for this rapid growth and time of increase. And that's what it feels like. It feels like some of you are about to enter into a period of rapid growth. And the rapid growth is going to be due to increase that is coming your way. Okay? And the increase, it could present itself in many different ways for all of you. You know, it is whatever you have been preparing yourself for. The increase can be in relationships. It can be in money. It can be in career. It can be in health. You know, it's what you've been preparing yourself for. And I was given some numbers for this message. So I was given some signs and some numbers. So this might be your message if, you know, over the past couple of days, you know, I don't know, like last maybe 10 days, these numbers have been making themselves known to you. Okay, so 77, 177, 5225, 152, 125, 1752, 88, and different variations of all of the above. You might have also been seeing ravens or crows, algae, or cacti. Okay, so yeah, that's what I have, okay, in terms of downloads. Now, when I began to pull the cards on the energy, what was really interesting is that another message that was coming through. So there's this energy of something beautiful arising where you thought there was nothing, and it coming in unexpectedly, suddenly, and it's just going to be there. Now, what is also really interesting is that for some of you, because of where you are on this journey, because you have entered into this time of rapid growth that's matching increase coming your way. You've gotten there by making some decisions that you were led to make purely by your own intuition. So in other words, before you were able to see materially why you had to do the things that your guides were showing you or you were feeling in your gut you had to do, you did. And as such, you may have made some really difficult decisions that that felt like at the time you were losing something. You know, you may have, for many of you, you chose to walk away from situations and people that you knew moving forward couldn't be part of your reality, or you knew that they were not the ones who were in alignment with who you are in your fullness, meaning that they were not in tune with your value as a divine being. Okay? They may have been in disagreement about who you are. They may not have seen or honored who you are. There may have been some envy. There may have been some spells. Really doesn't matter how it presented itself, whether as benign or as malignant as the energies may have been or may have been expressed. You knew that it wasn't right for you, and so you made the difficult decision that in order to climb, you had to walk away from these situations, beings, relationships, etc. And as such, what is occurring now is because you've honored yourself, those beings, especially the ones who are consciously doing things to keep you in lower states or to keep you out of your divine purpose, you have open the roads now for divine order to come for you, and therefore it's also coming for them. And this is going to be more important for those of you, especially who walked away from divine counterparts, because you knew that they weren't where they needed to be, or they weren't where they needed to be, or for some of you, you dealt with betrayal from some of these beings. For some of you, the karma that you shared was not healed. Oftentimes because it takes a mutual, not oftentimes, it is what it is. It takes a mutual investment of both beings to overcome that. And for some of you, because they chose lower timelines, or alternate timelines without you. No matter what the situation was, those of you who've dealt with these beings who, and what it really feels like, because the energy that was really coming out, which again takes us back to Cancer season, was the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups came out as the overarching theme, but even before it actually came out, it kept on, before it actually came out in the spread, when I was ready for cards to come out, it kept on flying out before that. So the Three of Cups energy is very much a focus right now. And why is that? Well, because when you get to the Three of Cups in Cancer season, it comes right after the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups, when you begin cardinal energy, when you begin a new cycle, you have new opportunities for new contracts. That's why you begin with the twos, okay? All the cardinal energies in the tarot are 2, 3, 4. So Aries energy is 2, 3, 4 of Wands. Cancer energy is 2, 3, 4 of Cups. We're in Libra energy. We're presently in the 2 of Swords, so it's 2, 3, 4 of Swords. Capricorn energy is a 2, 3, 4 of Pentacles. It is the beginning of the cycle within the suit, just like it's the beginning of the energy in the new quarter. So the Three of Cups comes after there's some kind of energy contract that has to do with the establishment of your emotional foundation or your emotional truth. That's kind of what the Cancer energy establishes. It establishes your emotional foundation. It establishes, I like to call the Cancer energy the amniotic fluid. It's where it's the waters that bring forth. It's the tuning of your waters so that you can bring forth life, because everything comes through water. Okay, so the Three of Cups energy is all about those energies that come in to either assist the Two of Cups or to, in the unevolved energy or the shadow energy, to tear the Two of Cups down. And so most of you who are not walking in relationships with divine counterparts, things that have fallen apart, it's fallen apart because of third party situations, third party energies, energies that came in and either one of you or both of you were not strong enough to fight against, whether those energies literally be in a person, whether those energies be an addiction, or those energies were old karmic timelines. It doesn't really matter. The point is, in order to get to a place of stability within the energy between you and this being, you had to overcome all of these Three of Cups in reverse energies. And so this is coming up now. It's almost like those of you who have entered this higher frequency, this higher frequential reality, by way of not succumbing or not tolerating these lower energies in your fields or in your relationships, you're now getting to a place where the Three of Cups can truly be supportive. Because we're dealing now, Libra season is all about the preparation, the foundation now of partnerships, the foundational energies you need in order to be in partnership. So when you go through the first 2 quarters of the zodiac, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, it's all preparation for the second 2 quarters, which have to do with how you interact with things outside of yourself. Whereas the first 6 houses or the first 2 quarters, the Aries to Virgo energy, it's all about the cultivation of your own energy and the preservation of it and the getting to know it and the laying the foundations and the protecting of it so that you can then go out into the Libra energy and begin to share your energy in ways that are healthy. So there's something here about, for some of you, there's something beautiful that is arising where you thought there was nothing. I don't really get the feeling that if this message is for you, it's something old coming back to life, although it could be, you know. But for many of you, this is some kind of a relationship that is about to come forth for you out of nowhere. And it's going to, not that I ever encourage like rushing through these things, you shouldn't, but there's going to be something about this energy that is going to feel like home, right? But it's going to feel like home from a truly, it's going to truly feel like home because you've reached a level of healing where you're no longer calling in energies from other beings that feel like home because they're trauma, if that makes sense. Okay, so even when I was going into, and as I said, that was 33 minutes, 3 seconds in on the timing of the video. So when I was reading these lyrics, the whispered conversations down overcrowded hallways, so much to say, not just today, but always, what I was really picking up, that the whispered conversations are like the spirits or those invisible beings that are rooting for you or have been the grand witnesses that have been watching you all of this time. There's a lot, for many of you, there's a lot of chatter going on around you right now on many planes. There's a lot of chatter going on around you materially. There's a lot of chatter going on around you by people who were once a part of your reality. There's a lot of chatter that is going on around you in the higher realms. There's just a lot of busy energy around you right now because of something coming forth. Okay, so I'm going to go very briefly into what came out. So we have the Three of Cups, the Knight of Coins, and the Ten of Cups is at the bottom in terms of the overarching theme. So again, the Knight of Coins, the Three of Cups to the Knight of Coins to the Ten of Cups, there is something coming in, okay? The night energy always speaks of active energy, something coming, something, it's masculine energy, something moving in, something moving towards, or something going out. But I really do feel like there's something material, something real coming forth. In other words, something in real time with that pentacle energy. The challenge that we have is the moon, and we have judgment, and we have the Empress. Okay, so in the challenge position, we have things that are hidden, things that are secret. We have the judgment energies going on, things being balanced out, things being, reset. That causes this, this feeling like something, 2344, I felt like something is coming, but not entirely sure whether that thing is good or not. Almost like what they just said to me. It's like some of you are feeling like, remember I said that some of you have been through these equinox energies while conscious of what has been happening to you, and every single time there was still something that would occur. But every time it gets lighter, but there's still that fear around something happening. The judgment energy is almost like there's still that fear around. It's not like being judged. It's like a fear around something happening that doesn't feel good. Okay. The Empress, this is all major arcana energy, 1823. So this is all about birthing. And look, I said cacti, but this is aloe here. The Empress, this is aloe vera. What I was also picking up is that there is a lot of distorted feminine energy that right now is dying. There's a lot of distorted feminine energy that's dying. And remember, when I speak about energy, I'm talking about it on every level. So that energy has to come to death within us in order for it to die in bigger ways. But there's something about so much of what was coming between divine counterparts was distorted feminine energy. Yeah, it was distorted masculine energy too. But the distorted feminine energy is ultimately what births that energy also. So it still goes back to the distorted feminine energy. There's something about the death of that and the exposure of that too, and the judgment of that. And maybe for some of you, what it is also is that you have brought justice in those energies within too. Something is coming forth to be shown, because we go from the moon to judgment, and between the moon and judgment, 18 to 20, is the sun. And before I even thought of that, what really made me think about the exposure energies with the judgment is that in this particular card, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a big ass, like it looks like an eye. And it looks like an eye, and it almost looks like a globe is the iris. This feels deeper than just the energies of the tarot. This feels like it's a message about this upcoming full moon, the eclipses, full moon cycles, but also ultimately the lunar manipulation upon which the Matrix was founded. There's another, I don't want to call it a layer. There is another birthing of the Divine Mother happening through us as a collective right now, is really what I'm getting through these energies. And this is what is also returning order as you walk in alignment with your truth. As you walk in alignment with your truth, which when you're doing that, you come into alignment with the earth and her cycles. you are allowing for these energies to be birthed collectively. And as these energies are birthed collectively, they're allowing you to step deeper into divine order. That's how energy works. That's the point of like the infinity. What you do for yourself, you do for the collective. What happens to the collective has an effect on you, etc. Now, the best way to navigate these energies, we did have the Magician and the Hermit coming out, but then we also have the Seven of Swords. So we have the Magician and the Hermit, which is very interesting because they're Mercury energy. The only other Mercury energy from the major arcana that we're missing is the Lovers. Okay, so we have the Magician, which is pure Mercury energy, and we have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. This is a call to continue, of course, to follow your own intuition, and to follow it, to exclusively follow your own intuitive guidance for yourself at this time. With the Hermit here, the Virgo energy is all about the liberation and the birthing of self into your truth again. The Virgo energy is very much connected with getting you back to a place of complete self-sufficiency. And when I say complete self-sufficiency, I'm not saying you don't need other beings. But the thing about the Matrix is because we were programmed and conditioned into such lower states, our interactions with others became codependent and toxic. And in order to begin a healthy foundation for new relationship dynamics, we must get back into that place individually first. And so it's very interesting. The Hermit is also holding this energy in her hands that, again, looks like, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like a globe with an eye in it. So it's like the inverse energy of the Judgment card. It's very interesting. So on the Judgment card, you have the eye, and it looks like the iris is a globe, right? But on the Virgo card, you have the globe, and in the center is an eye. Whew. It's almost speaking of those energies that what I was just speaking about, how what you do personally does have a grand effect on the collective, and the collective is that energy of the microcosm affecting the macrocosm, and the macrocosm having the effect on the microcosm, if that makes sense. Like, the world is a mess because we're a mess, and we're a mess because the world is a mess. So if we can heal ourselves, we heal the world. And the world being healed also heals us on an individual level. It's all interconnected, but it ultimately always begins with the energy that can be shifted. So it's easier to heal self, to undertake that as an individual, than to try to go out there and heal the entirety of the world. But in doing that, it has the same energetic effect. There's something here about having a proper remembrance of power here. A proper remembrance of power. Remember I said with that Judgment card, there's something being exposed. There is a remembrance of power that's coming through, and maybe the remembrance is what is also triggering this thing that's going to come that's unexpected, sudden, and just there. It's very much connected to this remembrance of power. And what else came out was we have the Seven of Swords, and at the bottom of the deck we had more Knight energy, but this time we have the Knight of Swords. Okay, so the Knights again are all about taking action. It is masculine energy. And it's moving an energy forward. Like the King energy, masculine energy moves and establishes. It moves and establishes. The King energy is more about establishing. The Knight is more about moving an energy, taking it forward. So there's something about with the Seven of Swords, in terms of guidance, is all about doing something with precision, and And because the 7 is connected to the Chariot energy, it's also about aligning, and Swords energy is mental energy. It's aligning your mind and having such clarity of focus. It's getting back your divine logic. This is to do with the remembrance of power that's coming forth. There is a reclamation of divine logic. And I was channeling this also when I did the message on the community board for Libra season. I did a message on Saturday, and that was definitely coming through, because the Libran energy is what allows us as a collective to come into union with our minds and our hearts. It's that place where we finally reclaim the correct balance that allows for us to follow our hearts fearlessly, because our minds are no longer programmed and conditioned into matrix commands or trauma commands or commands that ran our false identities or the false personas we took on in order to move forward through the matrix. 23:55 on my clock. The Libra energy helps us to follow our hearts fearlessly, because we are now back in tune with divine logic. And that energy began in Gemini season. That was about the recovery of the Christ mind. And now Libra, and then through the next quarter, it was to do with emotions and heart. And having been through, especially the Cancer and the Leo energy of recalibrating our emotional waters or our emotional foundation through Cancer, and Leo season deals with the ability to be brave enough to stand in our light and our truth and to follow our hearts, and doing that also by way of reconnecting with the inner child. That Cancer Leo energy is about the emotional resetting, or the ability to our ability to be able to follow our own hearts fearlessly. And the Gemini energy was all about the overcoming. The Gemini energy is all about getting over the mind control. I say this to people all the time, we've all been MK Ultra. It's just to what degree? So some people, it's been highly done on physical levels too. But the whole point of the mind control programs was to figure out how to do it on a collective level. And they did manage to do it for a while, okay? The Gemini energy is all about the 8, 9, 10 of Swords, which is Gemini in the Minor Arcana. It's all about either you have a choice with the Gemini energy. You either are going to unprogram, you have 3 possibilities. Either you're going to unprogram those false commands, mind control commands that are ultimately designed to program you into trauma so that you function as a cog in the energy dynamic that the matrix likes to set on every level. So that's the one thing. Or you're going to get lost in it, because the Gemini energy is there to expand your mind enough to get free, but if it's not grounded, it can take you out there, right? Or you're going to push yourself deeper into matrix think. Okay, so for those of you who were able to be grounded enough to connect with the truth of what the Gemini energy, the mental expansiveness of the Gemini energy allowed for you to do, which was ultimately to connect you with your Christ-mindedness. For those of you who were reasonably successful with that in Gemini season, Libra season is where you access the ability to align that now with your recovered heart is really what it is. Your Christed heart, you could say. Libra energy is where those two things marry. And the reason why, in the Egyptian story of the goddess Ma'at, it's all about the weighing of the heart against the feather. The feather is the mind, and the heart is the heart. The feather represents the mind. And so your mind has to be, your thoughts have to not weigh down your heart. Your mental energies cannot weigh down your heart, because when your mental energies weigh down your heart, your stargate is blocked and you're not able to take off. You're not able to maneuver your own spaceship. You are a spaceship. You are the universe. You're not able to move forward in the fullness of that energy. Let's put it that way. So there's something here with the Seven of Swords. This is Aquarian energy, and we are, as I record this, the moon is in Aquarius. This is about seeking a deeper level of clarity and focus that allows for you now to walk in divine logic and to continue knowing with the Knight of Swords how to move forward in this energy, but also what you need to continue to fine-tune, sharpen, and even remove. Okay? That's what the Swords energy is. I'm trying to think. I was getting another message. I'm going to put these away. Oh, at the bottom of the deck, it was the King of Cups. The King of Cups. So this is about the establishment of your emotional energy, the mastery of your emotional energy. For some of you, the energy that might be coming forth might be King of Cups in nature. It might be King of Cups. And when I say King of Cups, I'm not speaking about this person might be more in their masculine energy, but I wasn't even thinking about masculine, feminine. This is more the energy of, for one thing, you being in King of Cups, having mastered the emotional part, which is beautiful, because the way that energy comes forth in the tarot is first by wands, then by swords, then by cups, and finally by pentacles. So your ability to bring things into real time, your ability to be the queen or the king of pentacles, it's by way of this cups energy first. That's the first thing that must be established. So it's almost like this is saying, mission accomplished. You've established the ability to reprogram your own emotional fields, your emotional waters in alignment with your divine truth. And so the next thing that's going to spring forth quite easily is the material representation of that. And for some of you, that's going to come forth quite rapidly. Another message that was coming through is that we are entering into a time where beings who are unequally yoked are going to, things are going to get more difficult for them. Okay, so if you are a being who has a divine calling and you are in the wrong kind of relationship, especially those of you who have divine purposes in the new earth, and you are misaligned in terms of the people that you are, entertaining or that you're with, lessons will become a little bit more difficult in order to either elevate the frequency of the actual relationship, or to push you into a higher frequency, and to help you to move away from the energies that are keeping you out. Okay. There was another thing that was coming forth earlier today. There's a lot of union energies coming forth, and that's not surprising. We're in Libra energy, but not union in the conventional way we think about it in the spiritual community. It was deeper than that. It was so much deeper than that. It was almost like I did a reading back in, I want to say it was either Taurus or Gemini season, and it was all about the original bloodlines of the earth. And I was tapping into this energy of why these original bloodlines, who when they were in unison were responsible for keeping the entirety of the earth in harmony. And I was tuning and tapping into why or how that fell apart in order for the energies of the matrix to have even be made possible. And it really does feel like there has been such a deep clearing since that time. And there's been a reshuffling in accordance with the choices that people have made on their own healing journeys. There's been a reshuffling that now is, it feels like, energetically speaking, those unions of the original bloodlines have already been established. I hope I'm making sense when I say that. So they may not have come forth yet in real time. Maybe they have, I don't know. But definitely on an energetic plane, it feels like this Libra season, the foundation for the unity and those bloodlines to come back together and to root the harmonious energies that are necessary for the next level and stage of New Earth. It's a go. That's what I'm feeling. And I want to just take the moment to remind you that that is the point of divine counterparts. The point of divine counterparts coming together is that they both hold certain divine DNA based upon their own divine lineage, that when they come together and join in love, very important, in love and healing and power, there is a reestablishment of certain frequencies that are necessary to continue to destroy the fake templates erected by the matrix to keep us in these lower states. And it feels like through a process of elimination almost, this next step is now ready. That's really what it feels like. That's so weird. As I said that, the water in my bathroom in the pipes just started running it, but really loudly. Where do you want me to go? So I will be doing a tarot astrology reading on my other account for the full moon in Aries. And I'm probably going to do something a little bit different and as an addition, and something special this time around for the full moon in Aries. So please make sure to stay tuned for that sometime this week. But the full moon in Aries is the first moon we've had, new or full, in the signs of Aries and Libra since the nodes switched. So it's kind of a big deal because this full moon in Aries and the next new moon in Libra, which is an eclipse also, these two moons are kind of setting the tone of the energies that we can expect for the next year and a half. And your Aries energy is connected to your I am truth. It's what I like to say, it's your ascendant, right? So Aries rules over the first house. Your first house energy is your ascendant energy. And so Aries energy, I like to say, is who God says you are, who Source says you are, who Mother and Father God say you came to be in this incarnation. And I tell people all the time, it doesn't mean it's the fullness of who you are cosmologically. It's just the very special energy that already is part of who you are, that you're expressing through this physical version of yourself in this incarnation because it's needed here. So your Aries energy is your Godhead energy. Your Aries energy is what allows you, remember I said your energy, you are a universe unto itself. So who is the God of your universe? It should be you. It should be you. You should be the God, goddess of your own energy. And the whole point of the matrix was to purposely, constantly take you out of that position, to take you off your throne, to take away your crown, which is, again, the Aries energy, is who you're crowned to be in this lifetime. It's your divine identity expressed here on earth, as it already is in the heavens. So your Aries energy is your crown. It's who God, goddess, source, whatever you want, creator says you are this incarnation. And so it's connected with your ability to be God over self, God over your own energy. So this full moon in Aries, and even just the North Node being in Aries, is all about the planets and this upcoming moon helping us to boot out of our energy fields all those things that we allowed to sit on our thrones, energetically speaking, and to take the position of Godhead over our energy, over our lives. And the full moon in Aries is helping you to really give a swift kick of those energies out your field. It's helping you to do that. It's helping you to call in, even at the 6 degree mark, which I won't go into too deeply here because I'll get into it in the Tarot Astrology reading for the full moon energies. The full moon will be at 6 degrees. The moon and the sun will both be at 6 degrees Libra, 6 degrees Aries. The 6 energy, 6, again, is an energy of balancing, but the 6 is connected to, is Virgo energy, interestingly enough, astrologically speaking. So that in and of itself is another energy of liberation, right? Self-liberation. But the 6 is also Gemini energy. It's the lovers. So it's very much to do with the balancing necessary for divine contracts to come forth. And even for some people, this energy is opening up divine contracts that would not have been available before this shift for you. Like I said, I will go into it on my other channel, but it's important for you to know this. Ooh. Can't make shit up. Look what came out at the bottom. New life. New life. New life. New life, who this? New life, who this? 39. The 3rd of September, the 9th of March may be, significant. Pisces and Virgo energy, that is. 3rd of September is Virgo, 9th of March is Pisces, yeah. But we have 7 energy. This is what came out. To the sea. So we got more water energy coming out here. This is number 7, to the sea. More water energy. We have the King of Cups, and now we have the To the Sea card. And I don't know if you see this, but there's a face in the sky overlooking her. And she's got wings. And she's just chilling in a bathtub in the middle of the sea. And she has a compass. And my guides are saying, due north. Yeah, this is the energy. Okay, so here you see she has a compass taking her forward. Right? She does have binoculars in the back to see what's behind her, but she's not. And not only is she not doing that, but she's just she's not worried. She's just chilling in the bath, knowing that she's getting where she needs to go. But remember when I said with the King of Cups, in order to get to Pentacles energy, before something becomes real in real time, it goes through water. Again, this is the new life already being born. But again, the main energies of this reading and these downloads was that something beautiful is coming, and it's going to be here very unexpectedly, suddenly. It's going to be just there, and it's bringing in new life opportunities and chances to bloom in beauty. and not just struggle anymore. So you've passed, you've reached the frequency where you no longer have to learn your lessons by way of struggling unless you take yourself back down into that place. And that doesn't mean that everything becomes easy, but it means that you are more conscious of how you're wielding your power to create your own reality, which means you're no longer consciously choosing to put yourself in situations where you're suffering, but you're also, because you're so consciously aware of how these energies and patterns work, your unconscious energy, your subconscious, your waters, what the moon pulls up every full moon, you're no longer creating realities from the unconscious energies that you haven't processed. A lot of us were creating realities from unconscious states because we weren't aware that those energies were in our fields. That's no longer the issue here. We have new life. Oh my gosh. I'm going to show you this in a minute. We have new life, and she's breaking forth from an egg. And it's like she's waking up. Again, there's this energy that I was getting. And it's something like, you see how she's on that column. That column feels ancient as fuck to me. It's very Greek in its architecture, right? Or even, no, this is a Roman column, I think. Anyway, she's waking up in this egg on something that feels ancient. It's like this energy of what I was saying before, like this is a return back to something that you've known before. This is a frequency that you haven't been able to reach since before the fall of Atlantis, likely. But before, you haven't been able to reach this frequency since before the fall. So it's something that your soul knows, but you haven't. You're being reacquainted with it after many millennia and many lifetimes where you've had this pulling to this energy, pulling to this frequency, knowing that it's real, but not being able to access it, which can really do a number on a person's soul. And now there is this soul liberation that's occurring. And look what I was laughing because look, when I picked it up, the card that was here is here and now. And she's floating on an egg. Why is this significant here and now? Because I said this energy is going to be unexpected, sudden, and just there. It's just going to be here. You get what I'm saying? It's just going to arrive. It's just going to arrive in the midst of your life. Like it's always been here. So familiar because you've lived it before. So familiar because it's what your soul has been pining for on an energetic level. And I lift it up. Treasure Island. Something beautiful this way comes. Where do I want to go to finish this up? Let's go into the Sword of Light Oracle. This is, oops. I picked up some other cards too. Six of Pentacles, the Moon, Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, something's being born that you don't see, but it's going to bring a lot of balance. It goes Ace of Pentacles, the Moon, Six of Pentacles. Something being birthed in real time with the Ace of Pentacles. Can't be seen, but it sure as fuck is felt with the Moon. Six of Pentacles. Let the great rebalancing in real time begin. In real time in your day-to-day life. Also with that Six of Pentacles energy. The Moon is also, there's something is being let go of that the Moon has been holding on to. In order to enact, to keep this stuff alive. As we shed a lot of these energies are shedding too. The moon has been actively shedding these programs also. A lot of the planets have been actively shedding, because what you need to understand and understand about what the Matrix did is that the Matrix exploited all energy. It took the shadow energies of every being and exploited them to keep them in lower states. So that works even for the planets. A lot of lower Saturnian energy was used to set to get us stuck in timelines, for example. A lot of lower vibrating Mars energy or shadow Mars energy was exploited to keep us in states of fear and at war with self and therefore with one another. A lot of distorted and shadow Venusian energy was utilized in order to create fake illusions whereby other beings were living in beauty, matrix beauty, in order to cast a shadow upon us and to cast their envy spells and their lack spells and their competition spells. And all they needed, again, for us to be in states of lack consciousness and at war with self, and therefore at war and competing with one another. But I say that because those shadow energies are not the fullness of the energy of those planets, just like they did the same thing to us as divine beings. They traumatized us and then exploited our wounds. Our wounds are really our untapped shadow. Also, part of the way we stay wounded is by not tuning into our shadow energies, but instead having them used against us. Same thing. The Matrix was run off of wounded child energy, yes, but it was also run off of the exploitation of energies. I know the tracking just may have fucked up. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm finished anyway. I don't have time for that crap anymore. If it didn't, wonderful. If it did, we're finishing up now. So I apologize to you guys, but I don't have time for those energies to interrupt what it is I'm doing. So what flew out? Trust your angels. So this is all about trust we got here. We got trust your angels, 36. Let go of your expectations of how your dreams will come true. Trust that heaven has a perfect plan. So you're supposed to just be sailing like her in this bathtub because you're already being pointed. You're due north. You're already going there. You see that energy already looking over her in the sky and she's just chilling? That's how we're supposed to be right now. At the bottom of the deck, we do have trust the guidance you're receiving. Archangel Uriel has blessed you with a brilliant epiphany. I'm also present to clear away your worries so you can trust your divine guidance. So Archangel Uriel shows up for a few reasons as far as I'm concerned. Archangel Uriel is very much connected to your root chakra energies. Archangel Uriel is connected 0022, I was about to say, with the materialization of divine contracts in real time. And we see 0022 on the clock, and that is significant because 22 is the number of Capricorn, astrologically speaking. Let's see. It's going to flash. There. 22 is the astrological number of Capricorn in the zodiac, and 22 and Capricorn energy is concerned with material contracts as well as other things. Okay, so that's a little bit extra confirmation. 35. So again, this is a speaking of something coming into material reality that is divinely yours. This is why Uriel is here. Not for nothing, Archangel Uriel is also one of those archangels that comes in to bring forth judgment, right? So we have Gabriel blowing the horn, but Archangel Uriel will often show up in order to dole out judgment or what needs to be done to bring equilibrium and balance in order for judgment and justice to come. It is said that Uriel is the one who guards is a guardian or guards the Garden of Eden with his flashing swords. And of course, Eden is not necessarily, it's a frequency. So you're not going to get into there. You can't fake your way back into the garden. So again, Uriel is your way partly into divine contracts here on earth, as it's already written in the heavens, as you reach the frequency that is necessary for you to go all the way through those gates. So when I did the reading, you might want to check it out on my other channel, Solara Rises, the new moon in Gemini reading a few months ago, tarot astrology reading, they were showing me that there were different checkpoints that we had to get through in order to enter into the fullness of this round of our divine contracts, okay, which are very, very important, because for many of you, this round of divine contracts are where your divine partnerships begin to bloom. And these are the divine partnerships that are, romantic, business, platonic, and otherwise, but they are ultimately these relationships that you are entering from a place of being, not 100% healed, because none of us are, but healed enough that you're calling in beings that are a reflection of that, and then being able to further work together in a deeper level of healing that is also responsible for the rooting of the rooting and the birthing of these new earth relationship dynamics that are ultimately going to be born by the way that you come together and you work together to heal on a higher level. Okay. I have this card from I ordered some jewelry a few months back from this beautiful vendor on Etsy, and she sends cards with her jewelry, and I hold on to her cards, and so this one just like literally flew on top of the spread. I don't even know where it came from. It literally just flew and landed. So I'm going to read it. It says, "I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow." So again, this is the third card about trust. This is all about us trusting as we move forward and trusting the process. And for those of you who are still letting go of some of the equinox trauma, let's call it what it is, equinox and solstice trauma, of the spells that they tried to cast in order to pull you down into lower timelines every time these planetary energies shifted, and then you having to deal with very real material repercussions because of it. You're being called to trust that either for those of you who have overcome that, it's over. But for those of you who even are still having those energies play with your fields, they are on the way out for as long as you tune into the truth, which is that, and you don't fall into the fear that these energies ultimately want to pull you into, and they need you in order for their spells to root. Their spells root through you, okay? They need your energy in order for their spells to work, and they need your energy in a low state. So when you choose not to succumb to the fear and the anxiety that they want to put you in, their spells can't work. Okay, so that's what I have for you. I hope that this reading and these downloads were helpful. Again, I apologize if the tracking fell off. Thankfully, I think this time around it was at the end. I'm hoping that's the case. If not, I apologize either way. But like I said before, I do not stop recording or erase or do anything because of this. I continue to soldier on and get the message out. So, okay. For those of you who are interested in working with me one-to-one, you can find out all information concerning that through my website, solara.info. Please be aware that if you want to work with me, my website is a menu of my services, but you need to reach out to me either through the contact page on my website or the contact notification that comes up, or you can email me, and my email addresses are also in the description box below. For those of you, if you're feeling generous and you'd like to donate to my work and the channel my PayPal information is below. I thank you all for the ways that, again, you've supported me so far. And yes, those are all the announcements. So I wish you guys, I'm sending you love, joy, peace, stability, focus, clarity, more joy, every beautiful thing under the sun that is ultimately yours and you reclaim once you are walking in divine alignment. And to walk in divine alignment simply means that you have remembered who the fuck you are, and you are adhering to that truth, regardless as to what anybody, anyone, or anything tries to do, say, to get you out of that truth again. Okay, so I'm sending you guys so much love. Please make sure to stay tuned for when I post on my other channel with the Full Moon Tarot Astrology, and also stay tuned because to celebrate getting to 10K, I will be doing a giveaway. I'll be doing a few giveaways, so please stay tuned. Once I organize myself enough, I will be doing that. Okay, so I'm sending you guys love. I will see you again soon. Until next time, be well. Mwah.